And I think we are live. Hello and welcome to, well, it's been a while, hasn't it? After the Kickstarter and after our initial lockdown, doing one of these every week, we collapsed in an exhausted heap. But we are back in season 2 of our live streams. And what we are going to hope to do, what we're planning on doing is one of these a month, one chat stream a month. And then perhaps we will also be doing some other sorts of streaming, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. So Simon, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Excellent. Yep, not bad at all. I thought I would just do a quick run through of what we're going to be discussing today, what the sort of subject of the stream is. Now, you will probably have seen and been excited by, I hope, promises of looking at the last few Gene Splicer sculpts that we've been teasing over the Facebook group over the last couple of days. So we'll see those at the end of the stream. We're going to talk a little bit about the Pledge Manager, which is now ready to go. We're going to talk about how to add things to your pledge, how to change your pledge level if you want to, what the actual pledge manager looks like, and for those people who don't play the Drowned Earth but back the Elia Chronicles Kickstarter with the intention of maybe picking up some Drowned Earth stuff, Simon, you're going to take us through
absolutely
what they need to get started, basically. Then we've got some pretty exciting announcements about Tabletop Simulator, some online gaming, possibly some online streaming. And then at the end of the stream, we're going to launch the Pledge Manager live, which doesn't really do anything too exciting. You know, it's not like there's a big sort of ticker tape celebration at the end of it, but I just thought it'd be quite fun to hit the button while people are actually watching us chat.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, James, but I've been really busy over the last 3 weeks, sitting in my room, staring at the same floor.
Yeah, well,
like I have for the last 7 months.
I was about to say 3 weeks. It's like half a year, isn't it?
I don't know. September seemed to last about 12 weeks. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like one big benefit for a lot of people, even me, actually, I managed to get my paintbrushes out for the first time in a very long time. And, you know, on the Facebook group, we've been seeing some excellent hobby catch up and people painting their backlog and that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
So Flo, yes, it is the same room, but I have swapped sides. I've been booted off.
When he says he's got his paintbrushes out, he actually means he's been painting the walls.
Yeah, no, you can see I have not. But no, I managed to spend all of those lovely Kickstarter dollars on an actual chair to sit on, which is nice. My other half and I are sharing the living room as we were, but we've swapped sides. So I reckon we should just get started, don't you?
I think that's probably the right thing to do.
So let's talk about the Pledge Manager. Now, the Pledge Manager has taken a fair old while to get going, and there are a number of different reasons for that. But Brexit was the main one, you know, and we're still, unfortunately, we're not going to get political, whatever we do. But, you know, we're just still in this ridiculous situation where we're doing something very questionable, and also doing it in the worst possible way, and there's exactly zero clarity even now on what's going to happen. So it took me quite a while and a bit of head scratching and a lot of negotiation with various different people to make a bunch of contingency plans so that it doesn't all go horribly wrong. You know, and that basically we can fulfill from several different places, you know, if that's what we need to do. And so, you know, I have made, when people get to the Pledge Manager, they'll see we've managed to stick to the original shipping estimates in every case, and in a few cases we've managed to, for the very heavy parcels, we've actually well, we didn't give an indication of what the very heavy parcels, if somebody wanted to buy, you know, really a lot of stuff, that's normally really expensive to ship, and we've actually managed to make it so that it isn't. So anybody who decides they want one of absolutely everything, they're not going to get stung for a huge shipping fee, despite the fact that it's international shipping. So that's good news. We got there in the end with Brexit, but also we have been waiting to be able to uncover all of the Gene Splicer models. And we'll be looking, as I said, we'll be looking through those at the end of the stream today. There's something for most factions. The poor old bondsmen have been left out, so I feel like maybe I'm going to try and organise a possible Christmas present for the bondsman. Maybe some Christmas releases coming. Who knows? And I don't know what, if you ask your average bondsman what they'd want for Christmas, I can't imagine what it would be. So maybe I'll just have to have a long think about that. But anyway, we're talking about Gene Splicers at the moment. There's something for most of the factions, and we've also done a special sort of bundle deal where if you just want all 8 models, you can get those at a reasonable discount. So that's fun. But let's talk. Well, I don't know. Somebody's saying it's Flo's saying mounted Limosk. I don't know. I mean, I think one part of that is right, but I'm saying nothing. Maybe relatively soon I'll give some hints. But let's talk Pledge Manager. Let's actually go and have a look at it. So the pledges haven't gone out. 1 or 2 people have got their pledges. What you do is you send out a sort of what they call a smoke test in order to make sure nothing's catastrophically wrong. And it looks like nothing is, fingers crossed. But we will be sending out the surveys literally at the end of this stream. But first, let's have a look and see what we're dealing with, and talk about some of the questions that people regularly ask when the Pledge Manager goes out. So the first and biggest question is usually how long is it going to be up for? And I don't have an exact answer for that. It's going to be at least the rest of this year, so there's plenty of time. But you might want to get your pledge in earlier rather than later for reasons which I will explain in a moment. But the other big question that people ask is, how do I switch my pledge level? I backed for one thing and I'd actually like to upgrade or do something a little bit different. And that's totally possible. So when you get your survey and you click the link, it'll take you to back a kit, and you'll see a screen like this, but your name won't be test backer do not ship. It will be, Joe Blogs or whatever. And you'll see a screen much like this one. You'll have a shipping location, which from a drop down, you'll be able to select where you are. You'll see how much you pledged. That's how much you pledged in Kickstarter. And then this is your pledge level. And if you want to change that, then this is it down here. It's a bit surreptitious, but it's right at the bottom of the page. Switch your pledge level. And if you already go into the Pledge Manager, you click Get Started. To get back to this, just go back to the email and follow the link again. Okay, so hopefully all that's clear, and let's have a look at what it's going to look like inside. So don't worry too much about this. This is basically just explaining a couple of important things. If you have pledged for a reward, you're not a $2 backer, then you will get a message saying that everything that you've pledged for, everything in your pledge level is already in your basket. And anything that you wanted if you put in extra funds at Kickstarter in order to buy some add-ons, then what you'll see is up here, you've got your pledge. That's the amount of money that you put in, and that's your reward. So you can see this person has a balance of £5. extra to spend, and yours may be more or less than that. And it's also worth saying that for a limited time, we are offering a 10 to 15% discount on all of the Drowned Earth product range. So when you go into Back a Kit, if there's a faction you've been particularly hankering for, if you've never played Drowned Earth before and you want to get some stuff, or you just want to sort of increase your options for Elia Chronicles, then that's all possible there. So just hit the Got It button and click next to have a look at the add-ons. And what you'll see here, so you've got your pledge level, and that shows you what the pledge level comes with. So in this case, it's going to come with the basic Dino bundle, hero pack options. Cooley, we'll see him in a moment. He's the little choose your own adventure story person who I've actually managed to make quite prominent in the plot of the campaign. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I want it to be a surprise when people are actually playing, but he actually features quite significantly in the story in a similar kind of way to the story that we told during the campaign. So that's fun. And then we've got add-ons. I've actually, this is a mistake. So the add-ons will be empty. You won't have anything there. And first, when you scroll down, you'll have, if you want to buy an extra copy of the core box, these are the core products, the Dino bundles, either the basic or deluxe, the hero box, and the hero pack options. So you'll see up here where the pledge level is. If you were at a pledge level with the hero box, you automatically get the hero pack options. You don't need to add that extra unless you want more. So you might, for some reason, which might become apparent when we start to talk about using this pack as troop types in the Drowned Earth, you might decide that you want 4 different grenade launchers, and so you might want to buy a whole load of hero packs. But there's no need to do that if what you're looking for is options to build your heroes in various different ways for Elia Chronicles. So then when we go down, we see the Elia Chronicles add-ons. So you'll have seen all these during the campaign. Here's the Corsair faction, the Baryonyx, and various other bits and pieces. Worth mentioning a couple of them specifically. So we've got the Ceratops, the Ankylosaur. If you want to get the AI deck for Utahraptors, the core box comes with an AI deck for all of the models in the core box. So it'll come with an AI deck for the Baryonyx, for the Magnosaurs, for the Dilophosaurs, and for the Sinoraptors, and also for the Pirates as well. If you wanted to use Utahraptors, you'd need to buy the Utahraptor Alpha. The Utahraptor Alpha comes with the deck to use Utahraptors in AI, either in Drowned Earth, or if you wanted to make your life harder and substitute your Magnosaurs in the campaign for Utahraptors. Similarly, the Ceratops and Ankylosaur were collectively known as the herbivores. Those have got decks with them as well. Troodons. Troodon is another model type in the Drowned Earth already. You'll need to buy the Alpha if you want to get the Troodon pack. And obviously the both of the Alphas are extra sculpts, but they're also better profiles. So they're extra options in the Drowned Earth as well. So I won't go through every product. You'll see all these, but we'll have a look at Cooley because I don't think anybody's seen the sculpt for him yet. He's super cute, and he just so happens to be carrying the map case that he stole from us all during the Choose Your Own Adventure portion of the Kickstarter campaign. So cute little model. I'm super happy with him.
Much easier to design than the last design your own character model.
Could be said to be true. So now these are some Gene Splicer characters. We're going to have a look at them in more detail a little bit later. Here's the Gene Splicer bundle, which is it's about 11 quid off the price of the models collectively. And then when we get down to the Drowned Earth products, and they're split into 2 sections. We've got Getting Started. These are kind of core products for Drowned Earth, and then we've got add-ons, extra things that you don't need but you might want. So Simon, I think we'll go over to you, talking to anybody who wants to get started with the Drowned Earth. They bought Elia Chronicles. Obviously, a bunch of Elia Chronicles stuff is usable in Drowned Earth. What else do they need?
Absolutely. So what we'll do is, I think it's easiest if we start off with the stuff that if you wanted to get started now with the current range, super simple. Where we're not expecting you to be building massive army forces. So what you need to get started is one of the faction starter boxes. There is a faction starter box for all of the 5 factions. So you've got your artifactors, your bondsmen, firm, militia, and the wayfarers, and a little bit, although a lot of you guys probably already know what they are. You'll need a rule book, and frankly, why you wouldn't want the rule book is beyond me, because the artwork and the storyline is absolutely phenomenal. James is modest, and I'm not. There was a lot of work that went into that, and to get the experience you did without getting a hernia for carrying 4 or 5 rule books around like you do in other science fiction games with reaction orders. I wouldn't tell you who. It is an amazing experience. Alongside those, all you really need is your small peripherals, so dice and the templates. Although the dice, realistically, if you wanted to, you could use normal D10s, but there's nothing better
in fact,
than
these 2 dice, the feat die and the attribute die, come in the Elia Chronicles core box, with an additional die called the Frenzy die that's only used in those rules. There's no armor dice in the Elia Chronicles box. You just have to use regular D10s for that.
Exactly.
But you don't really need the dice. They're nice to have. Yep, and it's also worth mentioning.
And then there's just your templates.
It's also worth mentioning the Corsairs. If you've added those to your order for Elia Chronicles, those are obviously also a Drowned Earth starter faction, and they will come with both. They will come with cards for Drowned Earth.
Absolutely, yeah. So the Corsairs is a completely playable faction on its own right. More to come on that, and how they'll completely fit in exactly, with the likes of things like wayfarers, etc. Beauty of those ones, Florian's not going to like it, but they will have a mounted leader straight away. But don't worry, Limos is coming. So yeah, you guys who have backed in with the Corsairs, or Pirates as everybody likes to call them, Team Pirates for the win, you'll all automatically have a playable faction for the Drowned Earth out of the box. Although with the discounts that James has been generous enough to put up, why you wouldn't want to top up with a few extras? And let's be honest, why wouldn't you grab more dinosaurs? There's no such thing as having too many dinosaurs. There's a few big Bryce as an example of the fact that there's no way of having too many dinosaurs.
It's worth pointing out that the dinosaurs are faction neutral, and so they work with any faction.
So yeah, you guys who have backed the Elia Chronicles, you've got a boatload of stuff already coming for you. Ones who've gone with the Dino bundles and the Corsair add-on, you've got pretty much everything barring a rule book and some templates to be able to get up and going. It's just a matter of whether you want to flesh the game out with some additional factions or some more dinosaurs on top of the ones that you've probably already got.
Yeah, not to mention a few list building capabilities.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if all you're interested in is the rules portion of the rule book, then you can download that on the website, and an Elia Chronicles core box plus any starter faction is enough to get going with the Drowned Earth. But yeah, the important point really is that everything's on discount. In all of the Drowned Earth stuff, at any rate, is on discount during the first month of the Pledge Manager. I'm not sure how long we will extend that sale for, but it won't be forever. But it's probably worth getting in early if there's some extra stuff you don't already own that you want to add from the Drowned Earth product range.
Yeah, I think Yoka sums it up best in the comments where he says that Drowned Earth is like Pokemon. Once you start, you've got to catch them all.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get no arguments from me. Yeah, I feel like probably that's everything we need to handle for the pledge manager itself. Like I said, we're going to launch it. What you'll do is you'll get an email. It's worth checking. If you by this time tomorrow you haven't got an email, then please do check your spam folder, because they will definitely have all been sent out. They won't be coming from me, they'll be coming from BackerKit.
If this is your first Kickstarter, there's a good chance it will hit your junk mail just because you're not used to receiving emails from them. So
it can happen. It can happen. Cool. So now moving on to the next exciting topic of conversation, we have been talking about ways to stay engaged and entertained and playing while we're all under lockdown, or some of us are under lockdown, or if there's a new lockdown where you are, or you're just not comfortable gaming face to face and going to your local club and stores. I'm not doing any of those things. I have a pregnant diabetic girlfriend, and so we are staying indoors, wearing hazmat suits and picking up Amazon parcels on the end of a garden fork at a great distance. But yeah, there are new technological ways, and some of you, I think, have probably seen. We have been doing things on Tabletop Simulator, and we've got a new fancy all singing, all dancing Tabletop Simulator app, which we are going to show you today. And not only are we going to show you the app itself, we're going to talk about how we are going to use it. And one of the things that we are going to do is we're going to start running online tournaments and events, possibly some narrative events. We're going to start off simple. We are going to have a Wayfarer Invitational tournament. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and stream some of these games on Facebook and on YouTube, stream them live, hopefully. So with a commentator, my feeling is I struggle with battle reports sometimes. I find the YouTubers that have put a lot of effort into editing their battle reports, they make them really easy to watch. But just watching two people play is really tough. Watching two people play when you're not actually listening to their gameplay, you're listening to some commentators who are listening to the gameplay and who have a better understanding of what's going on and are explaining it, well, that is much more fun. As far as I'm concerned, and so that's what we're aiming at doing. We'll stream. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes, but hopefully we'll stream a couple of times. A couple of times a month. And here is our glorious Tabletop Simulator app. And I'd just like to shout out the Chimera table on Tabletop Simulator, which I use to house everything. It's got all these cool little drawers and additional tables and stuff like that. I liked it a lot, and you can see that we've managed to put our own official map by Deep Cut Studios into the mod. And there's a bunch of scenery which you can move around. There are a bunch of bags with extra scenery as well. This is just one table setup which I made to show off the mod. But I imagine when we have tournaments, we will have a number of different table setups, and in each round of the tournament, everybody will play the same. Will play the same. So yeah, you'll have all seen we sell this neoprene mat. You can we sell it at shows. We don't sell it mail order, but you can get it direct from Deep Cut Studios if that's what you want to do. And it's perfect for Drowned Earth because you've got a mixture of standing water and hard ground. So zooming in, you can see we've got plenty of height in that table. So there are ruins, rocks, and I'm wondering if you can just about see the movement of the trees. I found these really cool, like animated trees, and somewhere off in one corner there's a little fan, which is kind of making them wave in the breeze, which is fun. But Yeah, when you get into the mod, you'll see the models are bagged up with their profile cards and the models, and it's just they're like standees with the concept art on them. And Tabletop Simulator is actually, I was completely intimidated by it when I first opened it up and tried to do stuff. I found it wasn't intuitive, and I was grumbling and complaining. And actually, you really don't. I think all I really regularly use is I hit the control button while hovering over something to look at a close up of it. Other than that, it's just you use your mouse and then you use the AWDS buttons to scroll around left, right, up, and down. And then you can hover over things and hit F to flip them. If you want to flip over cards in the Drowned Earth, you'll probably want to do that with the profile cards. Sean there, I think, is showing that you can magnify and zoom in. You can also do other cool little things like set up a regular camera on the dice tray, so you can click to it really easily. And so we're not going to go through a really comprehensive Tabletop Simulator mod, but I think Sean is planning on putting a video together explaining how to do the basic stuff with our mod, which will be really handy, I think. But the main takeaway here is that the Tabletop Simulator just allows us to run a tournament over a weekend where the sessions will be relatively informal. So whereas, a regular tournament, everyone's got to travel to it. We've got a really tight schedule. Everyone has to play their game within a certain time slot. We can make those time slots a little bit bigger. So, 5 games over the weekend, let's say 3 games on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And you've just got to play your round 1 game sometime between, let's say, 9 in the morning and 12 midday, or that sort of thing. So wayfarers who are listening, they are going to be the ones organizing these tournaments. We will try and get them organized in different time zones, and so we're streaming in different time zones. And we thought maybe for some of the tournaments at least, we'd stream the top table of every round, so anybody who's not actually playing can nip in and see how things are going. If you're sort of stuck at work and you don't do a job that requires you to concentrate 24/7, you can perhaps log into Facebook. I'm sure none of you do that while you're at work, do you? But yeah, hop into Facebook and see how the game's going, what's the current score on the top table, and then sneak out again and do what you're supposed to be doing. But yeah, Simon, anything else to add on that?
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to allow us to get a lot more games in. As I said, we've got the Wayfarer Invitational, which will be I say like the test case for it, but it's not, because we've been trying around with the TCS mod. We know it works fantastically. It's going to make organising events during this period really cool, and we're hoping to have regular events for you guys to be able to play in, whether those be Tech Crush tournaments, narrative campaigns, leagues. We're open to what you guys want to play and bring in. And I'm personally looking forward to watching and commentating on people that feet it all the way to the top and then manage to fall off the top of a building.
Yeah, classic move. Yeah, we also we run demos on Tabletop Simulator. So if you've got a friend who wants to demo the game and that they're not comfortable with going into a store or meeting people face to face, the Wayfarers, we can organise that over Tabletop Simulator. We've got a demo table, which is just a 2x2 table with 3 models aside. And we can do that on TTS, no problem. Yeah. Which brings
those of you who've already had a demo, have got an experience of what the demo table is. It's pretty much identical to the one we take to trade shows and things like that.
Yep. So that brings me neatly on to another topic of conversation, although a brief one. When it comes to 3 models aside and 2x2 tables, do not forget, if you were planning on joining in on our scenario design competition, virus themed if possible. Doesn't need to be, but you get brownie points if it is. Design a scenario for 75 points a side or less, played on a 2x2 table. Send it to james@thedrownedearth.com. I've forgotten what the deadline is. It's actually not far from now. Yeah, get those submissions in, and we will publish the best one, and see. Maybe we can play that on TTS as well. Get it set up.
Just one thing that Christian's made a good point. So obviously, if you haven't got Tabletop Simulator, there is a cost for it. It's a one-off cost, but if you keep your eyes out, and we'll make sure that we try and share it if it happens. It's regularly included in discounts on Steam and things like Humble Bundle and stuff like that. Not that should be a deal breaker. Because there's ways.
Yeah, it's like 20 quid or something, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not expensive.
If you've got a friend that wants to try the game out via a demo, we have ways and means that the demo team can help them out via Discord streaming and things like that. So we can help you out as best possible.
Excellent. So I have just logging back into BackerKit in order to have a look at the thing that I think most people have been hanging around wanting to see, really, which is not me or you, Simon, sadly.
Shattered. You've shattered my opinion.
Illusions shattered. Yeah. But let's have a look at some of these Gene Splicer models, which you can add to your pledge if you so choose. And where are we? We are, the Gene Splicer bundle is here. Now, if you look at the individual models, they have very brief little bios. Obviously, the actual people who have... so for anybody who doesn't know, the Gene Splicer is a special pledge level during the campaign to sponsor your own model creation effectively. And so they've all got cool backstories and things like that, which I haven't been able to put in detail into the into BackerKit, but here this is just the bundle for ease of use so that I can scroll through the different models easily. But if you actually look at the individual listings in the Pledge Manager, you'll see those little bios to get an idea of who they are. But for ease of reference, you'll be able to see the faction logo of each of these models as well. So this is Bez. She's got a little squirrel friend on her shoulder, and these you can see she works for the firm. So she's got a little bit of a Ashigaru vibe going on there, I think. And I'm not going to say too much about it, but these are actually little glass globes with some various dangerous contents inside. So I think somebody mentioned on Facebook when they had a close-up of we've been teasing these models, so it's details of them over the last few days. How much damage can you really do with the slingshot? Well, the answer is that depends entirely on where you get hit. But it also depends on what happens to be in the little glass globe. But there's a story with this. The backers of this and one other model are sisters, and so are their Gene Splicer creations. So they work for different factions. So this is Bez, and her sister Romy is an artifactor, pretty angry looking shotgun girl with a Triceratops belt buckle. Particularly like that detail, but you can see they've got a dino tooth bracelet, which they both share. At the moment, they've never actually faced each other in battle and are still on quite good terms. Nobody really knows what would happen if they did. But that's just a little fun bit of background. Particularly nice pose, this one. She really looks like she's ready for business. For me, she's giving off that kind of Helen Ripley from Alien.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say it's kind of an Alien Resident Evil kind of film, Mila Jovovich.
Yeah. Absolutely. Going through them, this guy is Hawk. You'll see he's got a little Utahraptor head in the other hand. It's a shame we can't see the other side of the sculpt, but with a blood dripping knife. He's a militia sort of lone hunter. He's not a very good team player, but he is dangerous enough by himself to make up for that. He's still, despite the fact that he's a bit of a difficult customer, Forek in particular really doesn't like him, he still employs his services because of just how damn good the guy is at taking out horrible dinos, which of course is the part of the militia's main job. It isn't just protecting the town from raiders and things like that. It's actually going through and patrolling the local area and clearing out any dangerous nests which might be attacking travelers and traders and all that sort of thing.
It's definitely got a little Crocodile Dundee, you call that a knife feel to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Cool. And so this guy is also the next militia guy. So his name is Sumisk O. And he was, you can see he's got a Saurian name, but he's not actually a Saurian. He's we don't know what he is actually, because it's all a bit of a mystery. He was found as a babe in arms in a Moses basket on the doorstep of a Saurian family. Nobody else in Northern Elia has ever seen this species. You can see he's modelled on a horned lizard, so he's obviously got some horned lizard DNA somewhere down the line. And he's a bit of an explorer, but mostly he's a messenger and an aviator. Actually, he flies a kind of somewhere between a gyrocopter and a hot air balloon, and he floats around the Thousand Isles, keeping communications between different militia groups. The militia of various different islands and different communities are loosely allied with each other, and so he's good at keeping all that information moving. So then we'll have a look at the next firm guy. So this is Kiyoshi. It's a particularly cool concept. I know people have seen this one before and kind of went a bit crazy when they saw a Games Workshop release quite recently, which looked frighteningly similar to this. All I say is I actually know somebody who works on the inside at Games Workshop, and it is just a coincidence. They've got these models planned a couple of years ahead, and so even though we released this concept and then I guess a month or 6 weeks later, they announced that, I don't even know what the product was, but I saw the photo, and it, I guess
I think it's an upcoming model for Beastgrave or the Underworld. Yeah.
Well, what I'll say, just from a creative point of view, is there are times where just a good idea is a good idea, and two things which are quite similar aren't necessarily copying each other, but maybe they just happen to take influence from the same place. And
knowing the person who created this with you, this is right up his street, and this was the reason that he went for the Gene Splicer, because he had this idea in his head from day one.
Yeah, and how awesome is that? So you can imagine being a chameleon, that he's got some stealth capabilities going on there, and a big old sniper rifle, which sounds like a horrific combination to me.
I can't wait to run him and Bank on either side of the board.
Yeah. So I think most people will have seen this guy as well, Mathieu. He is on the pirate faction with a big watermelon under one arm, and he's a sort of happy, cheerful guy with his pet pterodactyl. I particularly love this sculptor. I can't wait to get him in hand and paint him. He's got lots of opportunity to do cool blending on the skin. It's a real canvas for tattoos as well, I think, if that's what you want to do. And I want some real luminous pink juice coming out of that watermelon.
Yeah, that big belly is ripe for a big old tattoo across the middle of it, isn't it?
Yeah. So cool, very cool one. I love him. We've seen Romy, the sister of Bez. Also, I think most people have seen Tidala, who's also for the Artifactors faction. So Neil HHP, who backed our first Kickstarter and is on the beta tester team. He won a race design competition in the first scenario, and he came up with these guys, the Moche, and we promised him eventually they'll be represented in the model range ever since. And so this actually was Dominic Yocker's concept, but he really wanted to make a Moche because he also really loved the race. So lots of fun. And Tidala, normally the Moche, they have, as frogs and some fish do, they have a society that's based around an alpha and all of one gender, and then all of the sort of harem effectively are a different gender. But when the alpha dies, then the most dominant of the harem will actually change sex and become the alpha. So in the Moche case, it's a male alpha and female workers. And so Tidala is quite unusual in that she left her society and went out into the wider world, and I think she became a trader originally and a smuggler, and now works for the artifactors. But she didn't. Sometimes when Moche leave their society or leave their clan, they change gender, but they don't get huge like the Moche males are enormous, and eventually they get to such a state where they can't even really move themselves around. They have to be carried around. But yeah, very cool concept with a little sort of bamboo with some interesting technological effects. It's a pre-fall weapon that I'm not going to go into because I want to leave some surprises.
Absolutely got poison dart frog written all over that one.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, and then last but not least, we've got a model that people haven't seen yet. This one is Ryuza, and as you can see, he's a wayfarer with this enormous bow and huge arrows made out of dinosaur bones and flint, and he's got some kind of pre-fall technology going on there in his armor that he's strapped together with a little dinosaur skin cape. Particularly love this pose. I think it's a really epic pose. The sculptor have done a fantastic job on this one.
Dynamism to it. Yeah,
absolutely. So there we go. That's let me stop sharing. So
we excited then, guys?
Yeah, I hope so. I know I am. Looking forward to actually getting them all in hand. But obviously now they're all sculpted, they're all done. So we're in the process of the slow process of getting I don't know how many models it is for Elia Chronicles, but it's quite a lot. Getting them all. We're not doubling the existing range, but I think we're increasing the existing range by about 50%. I think.
Yeah, it's a considerable increase.
Yeah, so this time next year we'll all be playing with really different lists and really a lot of extra tactics and that sort of thing. Lots of extra choices. So yeah, excited about that. Excited to get them out the door. Then we don't have to wait till next year though. We might have some things in the pipeline to be released a little bit sooner than that. Maybe we'll be running a little mini Kickstarter or something of that kind before Elia Chronicles drops. I don't want to do another big one, of course. I want to concentrate on the one we've got. But there comes a stage where my work with Elia Chronicles will be done, and it's just a question of making sure that all of the logistics chain is moving in the right direction. And as far as my day-to-day work is concerned, there won't be any more. And at that stage, I'll be free to start doing something else. So don't worry if we launch another Kickstarter, it won't be anything on the same scale. It'll be much smaller. And in addition, it won't be something that would jeopardize the date of Elia Chronicles being delivered. It'll only happen when that's all completely in hand. And the other news is I'm having a baby in January, so I'm going to be fairly busy. So we'll see how all that goes. But I'm not going to put myself under too much pressure. The main focus is absolutely the Elia Chronicles Kickstarter. You all know me by now, I think. There's no chance of me dropping the ball intentionally at any rate.
Absolutely.
Or, putting too many.
We got some exciting stuff in the works as well with for that Kickstarter and other releases as well. So some real exciting stuff we've been working on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think does anybody else have anything else to say? Yeah. So the delivery date is June 2021, and so we'll be hoping to be 100% on time. At the moment, I see absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be. Unlike certain Kickstarter creators of the past, we do know when Chinese New Year is happening and have accounted for that. But what I'll say is that the logistics chain this time around is much more complicated. It's a bigger project. It's a bigger Kickstarter. I am not able to just do it out of my living room this time. I nearly killed myself doing that last time. In any case, this time, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to. So we're having to go through official and proper distribution centers and fulfillment centers and getting it all done very professionally. So my main priority will be making sure that they are all on schedule and that they're all doing what they do. And of course, Kickstarter is Kickstarter. You can't guarantee anything, and you can't guarantee when. The reason why I did it all myself the first time is because I'm a total control freak, and I know that I'm going to do it properly, and I don't know that anyone else will do it properly. And so I just
I don't know what you're talking about, James. I think you're completely
yes, you do. You have to put up with me on a weekly basis.
I've only just been able to wash out the red dye from packing the last boxes.
Yeah, but this time around, I don't have the choice. It's just not feasible to do it all in house. So we're outsourcing, but we're using very companies that everybody knows, and it's all above board professional experts who do this all day long. Half the Kickstarters that you will have had delivered, if you're in the UK anyway, probably more than half. Most of the Kickstarters you'll have delivered direct from the UK will come from the company that we're using, that now have a distribution center in Germany in time for Brexit. So potentially what will happen is the Chinese order will be split. Some of it will go to America, some of it will come to the UK, some of it will go to Germany, and will be fulfilling from those local centers. It's all taken some organizing, but it's all going to be.
And if any of you guys want to, there's a good way you guys can help us to make sure that we hit those dates, and that's with playtesting. So if any of you guys are interested in assisting the team with the playtesting, just reach out to us. Again, just like we've got with the tournaments and the demos, we've got the ability to do it on Tabletop Simulator. And Christian, big shout out to him. He's been a forerunner for getting those games in. But as James will always say, more data makes it an easier.
Yeah. The more data points I have, the easier my life is in designing. And also there are a few cool bits and pieces, like really detailing different difficulty levels and things like that. The ability, if you want to play it solo, at the moment, if you play it solo, you just control all 4 characters. With a bit more play testing, we would be able to pilot something like, what if you had one dude that's your dude, and then maybe 2 generic sort of assistants, or something like that. So you take 3 characters, but only one of them is leveling up on a regular basis, and that's you. So it's a bit easier and less complicated to handle. Those are all things that we can do with playtesting. So drop me an email, james@thedrownedearth.com, or send a Facebook message, even a Kickstarter message, excuse me. what I'd say is Kickstarter, I don't know why, but it's Kickstarter messages go to my spam folder a lot, despite however many times I've added it to contacts and what have you. So it's better to contact me directly. I do get to the Kickstarter messages, but sometimes it takes me a while. So cool. I think, Simon, anything more you've got to say? Because I feel like we might be done and we might be ready just to hit the go button on the Pledge Manager.
I think we're damn close. I think it's great to see the sculpts. It's great to see people getting excited about them. As I said, we've got loads of stuff coming up, guys. Please, jump on, get involved when we start running the interactive events. As James mentioned, we're going to try and do a stream like this, like chat stream once a month, and then some form of gameplay. But yeah, I think it's about time that people are going to start shouting at us and then James to press the big red button.
Okay, well, I'm going to get on that. It'll take me a few minutes, yep. Basically, we are so far pretty much on target. Certainly, I mean, actually, as far as the playtesting is concerned, we're slightly behind schedule, but not in such a way that I'm particularly concerned. Sometimes you just have to crunch through it, and these things also kind of ebb and flow. From a production point of view, everything's in hand. We're getting things printed. Again, we've got plenty of time. And it's all happening well within tolerance. So yeah, it's been good. It's actually nice to get back to these streaming. So we're going to announce some more dates, but we'll do a chat stream like this once a month to just keep everybody updated on what's going on, both with the Kickstarter, but just generally. We're going to start streaming some games online, which should be fun. And generally, yeah, get in touch if you want to join the Wayfarer program, you want to join the beta testers, please do so. If you've got any inquiries, any questions, please do that as well. And yes, it has been sent. Pledge Manager is live. Emails have gone out. If you've got friends who wish they backed the project, there is also a pre-order store up now as well. So people can hop in. They can't quite get the awesome deals that you got during the Kickstarter, but it's still better than it will be when we hit retail. So, yep, that's about it for this month's stream.
Yeah, I've just got my email, so looking forward to filling that one out.
Good. Get on it. Cool, excellent. All right, guys. So we're all going to head off. Keep these short and sweet, I think. Yeah, if you've got any ideas for things you'd like to hear us talk about during the next stream, then also hit us up with those. Any idea for cool things to do with the community? Don't forget to get those competition entries in for the scenario design competition. And we'll see you all online. Go get yourselves Tabletop Simulator, get onto Facebook, get the Tabletop Simulator link from there, the app link for our Tabletop Simulator module, and good stuff. It'll all be fun, hopefully.
Absolutely, can't wait for it.
All right, cheers, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.